My favorite part is that my team, a lot of them have been working at this thing for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. And they finally hit their milestone, and they get to feel that same feeling that we felt in Little League, that entrepreneurs feel, that married couples feel, that, everyone feels when they hit a level of achievement that they're trying to fulfill.
This is about control. Everybody knows. Everyone complies. We're the kinds of pros. I don't need a plane. I just hit the road. I do what I want. I can't sell my soul. Market about to crash. This is what you chose. Ruining the country. I've been best to go. You gon' take the mark. I take narrow roads. I'm a man of God. I can never fold.
Welcome to the Protect Your Purpose podcast, where we talk whiskey, business, friends, family, and freedom. I am your host, Matt Marchese, and this is my co-host, an esteemed colleague, Mr. Marino, Zach
Marino.
Oh. And of course, my lovely wife, Lindy. How are you, honey?
Hi, good. Good to be back in the studio.
Is that a Dan Marino reference, though?
Yeah, Dan Marino.
Okay.
Ace Ventura.
I thought you were going there.
Mr. Marino.
That's Pet Detective 1.
That's one. That's right. Yeah. The OG Ace Ventura. Welcome back. Ian, welcome back to the studio, my guy. How are you?
Oh, wait, hold on. I gotta find my mic. Thank you.
Turn your mic on, you dipshit.
I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, we're all getting used to the studio again.
I know you can't see this area of the studio, but it's kind of cluttered, and I had to find my way to the mic. Sorry if I let you down.
Fun story. All right, so the jig is up on this. All right, I refuse to fucking have one more of these conversations.
There was a
Ian.
jig?
All right, so one time I told Ian, I was like, dude, you know how like in podcasts where whoever's the editor or producer, whoever's on site, like the host will ask them a question and they'll like talk with their mic off and it makes it sound real fucking official. Can you like do that? And ever since then, Ian will not. Every time I talk to Ian, he acts like a total fucking asshole.
Here I am.
Oh, you're right. So welcome to the podcast. Welcome back to the studio where Ian gets to be an asshole again. It's been 6 whole weeks since he's gotten to do that.
I'm just returning the favor of a month of unanswered text messages. That's all.
Hey, well, that's a busy man. All right.
Listen, and speaking of busy man, it is never a dull moment in Storm. Lindy got to come down for. She was only really in the major part of the Storm site for. Oh, Zach! Shit, I see what you're doing. I'm like, what's going on? What are we drinking, Zach? What are we drinking today? I'm so sorry.
Oh, Matt, you could probably talk more about this in depth because it's Peerless.
Yes,
it's a rye. So I'm not as familiar with the ryes, but you told me I would like it, so I'm trusting you and your palate.
Sorry, I missed that. We started pouring early.
Yeah. Ian was taking his sweet ass time, so
listen. Anyway. The studio is way fucking better. The energy is way better.
Temperature is way higher.
Temperature is a little higher. It feels so awfully homey.
I got boob sweat, and I didn't even know I could do that.
Yeah, boob sweat. Well,
me too.
Here we are. Well, we're back. The energy is better. I feel closer to you because I am closer to you. I can feel your breath.
Science.
Because I can. Yeah, welcome back to the studio. I'm really excited about it. We're here for at least a week. I'm not real sure how long I want to do like a consistent virtual podcast. It's much more difficult for me. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, Agreed. A lot more difficult for sure. And it's just a different vibe. So I like this vibe a lot better.
Me too.
But Matt's got a real job. You can't quit it for the podcast.
It's not even that because I can quit it for the podcast because fuck that shit. But it's the fact that I should have brought the podcast if it wasn't for your guys' real jobs.
So now it's our fault.
Yes.
Flip the blame.
Right. I could quit. The question is, why haven't you two quit? Ian quit.
Literally.
I said, Ian, I want to do a podcast. I need you to do it full time. I didn't even get the sentence out. He quit.
I'm going to need a pay raise too, by the way.
So anyway, we're back. Speaking of going on in my life, we're back for this week. I'm hopeful that maybe I can get back for a week. I certainly don't want to. There's another hurricane now on the horizon. Not even on the horizon. It's supposed to make landfall tonight.
Today.
I was gonna
say soon, right?
Yeah, I mean the outer bands and the wind is already.
Nicole.
Yeah, Hurricane Nicole. Yeah. So my team's gearing up. We're just finishing up a couple projects, and now we've got more on. It's going to be a long.
This one doesn't project to be as big as the last one, though. Just kind of a tropical storm,
right?
Per se.
So it's currently a tropical storm. I think they said it's going to pick up steam and probably reach a hurricane, Category 1 hurricane today, I think. By the time it makes landfall, it'll probably be a Cat 1, which, for Florida people, they're like, oh, it's a Category 1. Who gives a shit? They don't even board up for that.
Still go on my run.
Yeah, exactly. Florida people couldn't really give a shit less, but this is kind of a unique situation. It's a slow mover. It's bringing a lot of rain. It's a gigantic system, so it's basically going to blanket the whole state of Florida with like 45 or 55 mile an hour winds at a minimum. So the whole state's going to be affected, and it's so obviously we track this shit. It's what we do, but it's kind of crossing past like an X with what Hurricane Ian did. So essentially, it's going to meet in the middle in like that North or South Orlando area. This whole area is already ravaged. I mean, the tide is high, the water table is high. There's already roofs blown off. So to bring a whole another system on top of what has already happened, I think the devastation from a measly little Category 1 hurricane is going to be
more than usual.
It's going to be far greater than usual. Yeah.
Well, when I was there 2 weeks ago, Daytona Beach, there was still no beach there after 4 weeks. It was
What do you mean?
the
Just
water
the water
was so high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's the side that didn't even really get hit.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was not the impact side.
But it's going to get hit this time, though. Right?
It's Yep. So now that side is now the impact side. So the Atlantic, the East Coast, Hurricane Ian, the first one, went from the Gulf Coast across the state into the Atlantic on the East Coast, and then looped back. This one, Nicole, is going from the East Coast, and it's going to scheduled or projected to go scheduled. It's scheduled out. It's projected to go off back into the Gulf Coast and then loop back in. So it's literally like an opposite but equal path. Certainly not the same strength and size.
Bitch, Nicole.
Ian was a monster, but Nicole's going to do some damage. My mom's staying there. She was supposed to come here. Her flight got canceled. My mom and my sister-in-law were scheduled to come here.
They canceled all flights, huh?
Yeah, they shut them down. She was scheduled to come Thursday, huh?
Yep.
Yeah. So then they canceled them preemptively. They basically everything from today through the storm, they shut down the airports. There's like, 10 airports they just shut down. I was lucky enough to be able to break out a little early. I revamped my flight schedule to fly in last night instead of this morning. Otherwise, I might have been caught there and not been able to make my own birthday party, which would have been ideal because I'm not super thrilled about celebrating me.
You hate
We
being the
would've.
center of attention.
Yeah.
We still would have.
Says what's my title again?
Yeah, what do
Says
I do
the
here?
podcast host, I hate the spotlight being on me. Comes with the fucking territory, I guess.
Yeah, nature of the beast right now.
Yeah, that's what it is, man. If you want to make a difference, if you want to, if you want your message to get out. I mean, I heard somebody that if you're not on the internet, then you're not reaching the people. Like that's where the people are. So as much as I hate being the center of attention, as much as I don't want to be this, and as much as I don't want, I mean, if you have to get a message out, you want to get it to the people. Where are the people? If you're not on the internet, you're not in front of the people. So, and if you want to be successful in anything, to include saving America, building a brand, that's where the people are. So
So
that's where we
question,
are.
are your salespeople going to go and sell jobs for this hurricane?
Yeah. So we've got people.
Since you're already there.
Yep. So So we've got a ton of people already there. The problem is we're up to our eyeballs with the workload that we already have.
And those people have been there a lot of those people have been there a long time.
So what we were able to do, not to put too much internal business out, we shut down we paused 2 of the projects to get over some approval type situation. So we were able to ramp down a little bit. And when we were able to do that, that freed up some time and some space for us to do a rotation in and out. So we rotated some of our team out and rotated a new team in. So it gave some of them a good enough break where I think they get back and you know how it is. I mean, you get with your family for a day or two and you're like, okay. I think Lindy's in the last 12 hours, Lindy's sent me back to Florida twice already. So once for leaving my shit on the floor and once for
I think I saw that
Not
one.
liking my new kitchen dining room table and chairs.
It's not that I didn't like it. It's just that you're calling something that's tan gray.
It's gray. It's gray. We'll
tan.
We'll solve this later.
Beige. I guess we'll have to
Seems
agree
like
to
this can be
disagree.
debated on the internet.
Yeah, let's
Take
put
a
it out
picture.
there. So
It'll be like that dress.
Anyway.
Do you see a beige or a
Listen.
gray table?
what are we fucking talking about today?
Election time, baby.
All right, let's talk about the election. I'm going to have to count on you for this one.
Well, it wasn't the red wave that was presumed to have happened.
Are they cheating or is it not the red wave?
I mean, you decide. Have you heard about like Arizona?
Oh, yeah, I heard some
and-
funky shit with the Dominion machines. Go figure.
Yep. And Pennsylvania apparently ran out of paper like at noon yesterday. And it's just weird, man. You know, how is this stuff still happening? After the last election, you would think if you were not trying to rig an election or cheat, as everyone says they're not, why isn't everything running 100% perfectly smooth? Like, how are you having these issues? Because at the very least, it raises red flags, and everyone's like, well, how can we have any trust in democracy right now if, like, we can't even run an election smoothly?
Right.
And the one state, Florida, with the strictest rules and the strictest,
Higher
they don't have mail-in ballots, they have all these rules in place, was the smoothest ran. Like, I think they have to show ID, right?
Right.
Do you have to show ID in Florida?
Florida's an ID state, or
So you can't mail in. You have
signature
to. You have to show ID. You have to do all these things, and it was the smoothest ran state during this election. And ipso facto, the Republicans dominated it. But like, why is everyone afraid to move to that? If we're all playing the same game and we all don't want to cheat or buck the system, why can't we all move to those rules?
What are you trying to
I
get?
know the answer. I want
I
you to
told
elaborate
you.
on the answer.
I told you I was coming into this studio with a positive energy and I was going to be chill. And the reason I wanted to be chill was because I felt like every time I was on the virtual podcast, I had to kind of yell to be heard. I'm sure I didn't because Ian's got the audio dialed. Yeah, look, he's shaking his head. Yeah. I tend to fuck that up. But I didn't want to get all amped up. And that, you know why. You know why. The reason why is because if they do that, then they can't cheat. Okay? Or it makes it much more difficult. What's the only reason why you would want it to be harder to certify that you are who you say you are?
Right.
I mean, there's only one reason. It's because I don't want to be able to certify that you are who you say you are. Now, what's the reasoning behind it? I mean, it's the same shit.
This whole mail-in ballot thing, dude. Like, election day should be a holiday for one. Everyone should get off work, and you should have to show up in person to vote
With ID.
with an ID.
Couldn't fucking agree more.
Like, why are we mailing? But like, that's just asking to fuck it up.
I walked in
and
yesterday,
that's exactly what's happening.
and I didn't know. I mean, I should because it's not my first time voting, but I walked in and I was like, "Hello, I am here to vote." And they're like, "Okay, what's your name?"
They're like, no
Told them
shit, you're at a voting place.
At your local precinct to vote. Yeah, we know.
So they said, "What's your address?" And I said it. My mind was blown. I was like, "You don't need this?" And she was like, "No, ma'am, we sure don't, but we appreciate you coming to vote." And I was
Nebraska
like,
did pass or
It was on the ballot, wasn't
got
it?
outvoted
It was
that
on the
ID
ballot.
should be required.
Really?
Yep. It was winning. It won.
Oh,
I'm pretty
really?
Sure. Yeah.
Well, we're another state that won all the way through with everything, so it doesn't surprise me.
You know me. I feel like this is both parties. Like, why isn't every single why isn't every single red or for that matter purple state have voter ID laws already in place? Which is why I think it's rigged, which is why I think it's not one side, it's both sides. Neither side wants it. If they wanted it, they would fucking have it. And if the red wanted it, they would have it in their states. And a lot of them don't, to my understanding. Most of them, I think, maybe. So why don't they have it? I can tell you one thing. The fact that they don't have it casts a dark shadow over every election.
Integrity.
Every election.
And if people...
Whoever wins.
Doesn't matter. And if people don't believe in a free society, in a constitutional republic, in a democracy, that their vote and that the people's vote actually is what decides who's in charge and who's in power. If they don't believe that, bye-bye democracy, man. It's over. Because if people don't believe that they can vote, number one, they're going to stop voting. It's going to get worse. It already does. I think the numbers show that we're still breaking records on the amount of people showing up to vote. So that's positive.
I got another point to talk about in a second on that.
Yeah. But if people, if Americans specifically lose faith in our election system, you can kiss democracy's ass goodbye.
And that's the irony of it all, dude. Like, both sides think if the other side wins, democracy is over. And turns out that's true. Whichever side
Turns out
wins.
it's fucking true, because if both sides actually want it,
Yeah, but the economy is much better.
yeah. So why wouldn't red states all do it? Why wouldn't blue states all do it? Why? Because it does do what is self-serving in their installation of socialism. And socialism, as we've discussed, I don't know, 100 times in 7 or 8 episodes, socialism is communism. And what does it take to do that? Well, there's got to be a lack of trust. There's got to be chaos. There's got to be a lack of belief in the system. And how do you fucking do that? Well, you make sure that illegal immigrants can come across the border, get released out into our communities, and there's no ID requirements to vote in the elections. If you're doing that, guess what you're creating? You're creating the uncertainty that is for sure going to be, lead to the demise of our sacred democracy, man.
So I was going to talk about, because you had mentioned at the beginning about if you want to be heard, get on the internet. There was something I saw that says basically young people saved the Democratic Party from losing because it was like a 4-1 voting rate between 18 and 29-year-olds for Democrats. I was interested in hearing your thoughts on that. Why are young people voting blue? To a 4-1 rate
Woke.
of red.
Yeah,
Woke
man.
culture, life's easier, get stuff handed to them. Lazy generation.
Lazy.
Not everybody, obviously, but
I was listening
vast majority.
to Dr. Phil. By the way, I was listening to Dr. Phil on Rogan, and he is not a raging liberal, which was fucking refreshing. Because I've always really liked Dr. Phil. And I also always just kind of assumed that Dr. Phil was, a left-leaning. Him and Oprah were homies, and, Hollywood and all of that. I was just, I don't know. Maybe it was an unfair assumption. It happens. But I was listening to him on Rogan, number one. Listening to Rogan try and restrain and refrain from going wild conspiracy theory on Dr. Phil was entertaining as a standalone source of entertainment from that early on in the show. Ultimately, he lost his composure and did go wild.
he does.
Yeah, as he does. But Dr. Phil kind of explained some of why he thinks this is happening. And it's kind of just, maybe he explains it as kind of a snowball-y type effect. I think he is failing to realize that it's being done intentional. If he's not failing to realize it, then he's committing like an active cover up for what's happening. But either way, he doesn't understand what I think the most people who are, quote, waking up and opening their eyes to this shit, is that this has been a plan. The reason why these young kids, number one, the people who are installing or attempting to install a one world government, a global communism system, are very patient. They understand that if they tried to do this immediately, there would be an uprising, a revolution, and they'd never win. They'd get brought down. They understand that there are way many more of us than them, and they understand that if they move too fast, that the jig is up. The reason why the younger generation is doing it is because the system is designed to get the children out of the mother's care and into the government schools. Into the government schools where they teach the indoctrination of whatever it is that they want, which is their system. And they teach them the bullshit that says this system is what's good for you. And because they are out of the household, because the women's rights and women's movement and equal pay and all that divisive shit that with the women crap, what does that do? Well, it pushes and drives women into the workforce. Well, when it drives women into the workforce, where does it drive them out of? It drives them out of their fucking homes. What do you think's happening? Now we've got the government raising our school, and they're raising them the way they want to. Fuck that. Anyway.
Hold on. I was okay.
All right, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I think you're right.
You go.
No, you,
All right.
please.
I'll go.
All right, go. You go.
4-1 young voters voting Democrat, right?
Yep.
But also, they had some sort of poll. I don't know how many people voted in this, so it could be a bunch of bullshit. But married men, single men, married women all lean Republican. Single women lead Democrat. Lean
Both
Democrat.
So
Interesting.
So married people, married men and women,
Right.
and who was the third?
Single men.
Single men.
Yep.
So married people,
Right.
single men, all vote Republican majority,
Majority.
and single women vote Democrat.
Right.
And that's because that's who the Democratic Party preys on, is
Plain and simple.
single women. Guess who all the people that struggle are? Is the people that the Democratic Party panders to and digs further into
So
Boredom.
the single
Yeah.
women, the struggling college student,
Of course.
all these people. I mean,
Yeah. All
just
the people
pushing
who
us more towards communism.
Yep. All the people who they incentivize to be dependent on them, and then they trap them, and they say, "We'll help you," and their help is more of and they're being an enabler. You know, they're not teaching a man how to fish; they're giving a man fish.
Right.
You know, that's their whole MO is. But that is it's the motto for communism. You know, Klaus Schwab says, "You'll have nothing and you'll be happy." Like, don't worry about it. We'll provide you everything you need. And you'll be our worker bees. You'll provide us everything we need.
And there goes the American dream.
There it is, man. It's
There it
over.
goes.
Yep.
And it's also interesting how over 70% of Americans had said they're either displeased or angry with the direction the country is going. And these midterm elections are as close as they are. It's curious.
So what's the deal, man?
Yeah,
Are they,
exactly.
Are they cheating or are people not voting?
Or are people saying they're displeased but still voting that direction?
Dude, let's talk about this. This Fetterman guy, and again, I've been out of the fucking net. If I told you what it took for me to vote, I've just been so out of the net with
So
all the shit
Fetterman
going on.
won the Pennsylvania Senate.
Dude, this guy won a Senate seat. Yeah. He fucking won. He is an actually elected senator now. Dude, this guy had a fucking stroke. He had a stroke. And he is very ill.
Let's just say that's not the reason he shouldn't be running, but he is definitely affected by it still, it appears.
He can't form sentences.
Is he a Democrat or a Republican?
He's a Democrat.
In
And-
Pennsylvania, the state where they were having problem with shortage of paper during voting.
Put it this way. He couldn't, his words, he couldn't read the teleprompter, which is why he did so poorly. They had to do like an audio, they had to like cheat for him. The only way he would take the debate with Dr. Oz. Dr. Oz is his, that's right.
He beat Dr. Oz, yep.
Which he got destroyed in the debate because he can't fucking read the teleprompter and can't form a complete sentence because he just had a stroke.
How old is this guy?
Got to be mid 40s, 50.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
I mean,
don't know
not old.
Yeah, not old.
First, he's I haven't done much research on him, but it sounds like he's like a career fraud. Number one, which would be par for the course. Most of them are, regardless of his record, regardless of anything. He is right now physically ill. He literally cannot perform the duties so much as to deliver a speech or answer a question. Everybody knows this. And they elected him? What does that tell you? Like, number one, it's fucking embarrassing. It's embarrassing for our country. It's embarrassing for the people of that state. And it surely is telling. The fact that people don't fucking care. They are literally just so brainwashed and fucking robotic that they'll just do whatever it is they are told to do.
That guy's got a D next to his name. We'll vote for him.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
He's got a D. He'll toe the line. Doesn't matter that he literally is incoherent.
He'll toe the line. That's exactly
Just
it.
to lighten the mood a little bit, I saw a video, I don't know where it was, on social media, of a guy saying Americans will literally do anything. And there's this guy just pretending, and before they entered this building,
Oh, I saw this. It's fucking great.
he does the motion like this, and they all followed it, and he just sat
He's
there
got a
with
lint
fake
roller.
wand.
It's a lint roller.
He's just standing in front of what?
Dude, he's standing in front of this building, like a commercial building, looks like a bank, like a downtown bank maybe, where you have to like walk up a flight, like a mini flight of stairs, like 4 stairs.
Sure.
And just this dude sitting there with a mask on, covering his face, and he walks up, doesn't say a word. He puts his arms out. The next person puts their arm out, and he rolls their arms with a lint roller, and waves them on. The next person comes up.
He's lint rolling.
He's got a lint roller.
We got some allergies in the building.
Dude, no fucking questions.
But
dude.
the point of it was Americans will literally do anything that you tell them to do. It's crazy.
Fucking anything.
We're a bunch of idiots.
Dude,
All of
it's
us.
terrible.
Every
It's
one of
it's terrible that this is the position we're in.
A couple of tweets here, though, I want to read. This one's from Kyle Becker. So, despite 75% of voters saying country is on wrong track and majority angry about inflation/economy, not a single incumbent governor or senator gets flipped. Odd, to say the least. But to put a bow on the elections, these ones I just thought were kind of funny. So Matt Walsh said, there was no red wave, but neither was this any sort of resounding victory for the Democrats. We're left with an electorate divided, confused, and uninspired. Neither party has a coherent message or a competent leadership. And then only one clear truth emerged from this election. This country is evenly divided, and each side thinks the other one is literally insane.
Dude, and
It's true.
the people, the radical conspiracy theorists, man, who say this is neither right nor left, would tell you very quickly,
This is exactly how they want it
this
to be.
is exactly what they want. Senseless. We don't even know what to make of what we're fucking seeing anymore. Confused. They've spun a web that 99% of people just get caught in and have no idea what to do other than bitch and complain about and at their neighbors and their family for believing the wrong thing or the other thing and be divided.
Evenly divided is the easiest way to take over.
And nobody
exactly.
can convince anybody otherwise. All we got to do is talk about it. All we have to do is knock down the walls. All we have to do is come to terms with the fact that we're being played, we're being lied to. Like, so I went on a quasi rant. I was actually just fucking around on Facebook Live and Instagram Live. I was testing out some shit. We had just got done doing an IDS session on one of our projects, and I just to entertain people, I went on a rant, and the rant was, I got a lot of feedback from it just because people texting me and messaging me, but
Hook it up.
the whole ass country. Yeah. I couldn't wait to come in here and fucking drink. Look at you two drunks. You might as well fill me up since you got
It's almost
it out.
Veterans Day, dude.
Yeah, it's basically Veterans Day. Happy Veterans Day to all of you,
Happy
by the way.
Veterans
Yeah,
Day. Yeah,
Ian,
we
happy
won't
Veterans
be-
Day to you, my friend.
We won't be.
And
Veteran
Before
owned
the
and
next-
operated Protect Your Purpose podcast.
yeah, shit. That's the real deal. Veteran fucking operated. That's for damn sure. We are veteraned up in this mo. I went on a rant the other day, and our whole ass country needs to utilize this individually and as a whole. How we solve problems is we go through a 3-step process, the IDS process. Okay. The first step is identify. The second step is discuss. And the third step is to solve. Okay. Here's the problem with America. Here's the problem with Americans. Here's the problem with fucking complainers. Here's the problem with those needy people who are takers, who all they do is bitch and complain. They get stuck. And this is the problem with politicians. This is the problem with our government. This is the problem with our country as in our society as a whole. Okay. Everyone knows there's a problem. That's the the identifying phase. Everyone fucking knows, or at least 70, whatever those people, 75 or 8% of the people know there's a problem. And those are the people that were willing to do it. I would probably guess as far as to say 95% of the people in this country. If we exclude, mentally ill and fucking insane people, it might be up somewhere in the 99.
We just let them run for Senate.
Right. And then we elect them. Right. Okay. Aside from the mentally ill people, 99% of the people in this country know that we have a problem. Okay. So we've identified it. And now we move to the D, the discussion phase. Okay.
That's where we're stuck.
Exactly.
No,
we get
stuck
stuck
on
on the D.
No, nobody wants the D.
Nobody wants
That's
the
the problem.
D. Listen,
Or they do, and everybody's right.
when you identify a problem, you're a problem identifier. When you identify a problem and then just discuss it,
Nobody wants to think they have the wrong D.
you're almost a problem creator at that point. Like you've identified a problem and then you discuss it. You're creating all these problems within the discussion phase. It's time that we move to the S, to the solution phase. I tell my family, I tell my friends, I tell anyone who I know who is scared, who is, struggling with anything in their personal lives, in their professional lives, anywhere and everywhere you're struggling, do the IDS method. But make sure you make a pointed effort to move to the solution phase. If not, we're getting fucking nowhere. And I feel like that's where our country
If you're
is.
waiting for a political figure
that,
to
dude.
give you a solution, or
It won't happen.
We're fucked. Yeah,
We're fucked.
We're fucked.
There's no way it's going to happen. Somebody's
Either
going to have
side,
to be a leader.
nobody.
Yeah, man. That's not to, the purpose, pun intended, the purpose of the podcast was to at least do our part in talking about this. And there's some people out there who have some solutions to this problem, but it all starts with community. It's all community driven. It's all locally driven. We're going to do it. Nobody else is going to come do it for us. Getting yourself right. You can't help someone else if you don't have your means together. Like if you don't have your finances together, how the fuck could you financially help someone else? If you don't have your house in order, if you don't have your marriage in order, how are you going to help someone else's marriage? If you don't have your shit in your own little community put together, how are you going to help someone else? Like it literally starts at the lowest level where we all have to get our shit together. That's Frisella's whole premise of 75 Hard. Like just get your shit together. And if you can work on you, you can free up some extra capacity to help some others, but you have to have your shit together.
And last little thing I'll mention about the election is, and I think this screwed the Republican side is the Libertarian votes, because
They got a lot of them.
not a lot, but enough to.
I
So Libertarians should have voted, because obviously Libertarian ideology aligns more with the Republican Party
Right,
currently.
freedom,
So
individual
if they
freedoms.
would have all just voted Republican, there was a couple of seats that would have been up for grabs if they would have voted that way. And I think Frisella was actually trying to push that point on one of his podcasts recently, is Libertarian Party's not ready yet. It might be a good theory, it might be a good thought, but there is nowhere near competitive enough to win an election.
No,
so all those people should have voted for which party they feel aligns with their beliefs the most.
The Libertarian Party needs to infiltrate the Republican Party.
Right.
They need to heavily infiltrate and take over the Republican Party. I'm a voter. Lindy and I we've all talked about this. I'm probably closer to a libertarian than anything. One of our friends, I think I might have actually talked about it. She's big into the Libertarian Party.
shout out to Randy.
Yeah, Randy Ott. She tells me all about it, and she's super big into it, and
Very smart.
yeah, she's sharp young lady and active and doing her best to change things. But her take on it is, because I was like, nah, I'm not taking. I'm a true fucking independent. Don't you try and put a label on me.
Right.
And she's like, well, if you only understood that's like what the foundational principles that the Libertarian Party is built on. No libertarian wants to be a libertarian. And I'm going, oh, okay. Well, now that you put it that way, like I got that. What they really need to do is, as long as we still have a two-party system like we have,
Right.
They're going to have to infiltrate and outsell the Republicans. And they're going to have to call themselves Republicans. Give themselves a fancy name like the fucking Democrats
Or
do.
Patriots.
Yeah, the Patriot Party.
I feel
Like Georgia specifically, Herschel Walker and I don't even remember who he's running against, but
Warnock. That
Warnock, yeah.
that crazy
Herschel lost
radical
by
fuck.
like what? Actually, he didn't lose. It's going to a runoff because neither one got 50% of the votes. But he was down by like 30,000 votes or something silly, and there was like 80,000 some libertarian votes on the ticket. So, like, that's just a perfect example. If all those people would have voted, once again, probably Republican because that party aligns with their beliefs
Freedom.
more. But
yeah, Libertarian Party's Freedom Party.
right,
Big enough.
had they all just went Republican, we probably wouldn't be in this runoff situation for sure because it was so close that neither one got 50% because the Libertarian Party stole, probably 1% of the votes, but it was enough to not give either one of them 50%. And now we got to do this runoff bullshit. But
Most importantly, what we need to do of all of this, our biggest takeaway from these midterms in the state of our economy with our sitting president and our current administration, the display of incompetence that they have put on and the destruction of our economy, as I sit here and watch my stock portfolio tank by another fucking 12% today, it's as we sit here and realize what's going on, our biggest takeaway absolutely should be that we need to do one thing, if nothing else, and that is restore faith in our elections.
which they did the exact opposite
Exact
of.
opposite.
Exact opposite of.
That's right.
And I don't think. I don't
The
know.
biggest
how much
takeaway is faith is in this election is worse off. We are worse off going into 2024.
And as you were saying, that's what they wanted. They want the chaos.
right.
They want the questions.
That's right.
They want you to think it's rigged. So we're arguing about it being rigged, even
That's
if
right.
it wasn't. Just and it's dumb shit, man. That I mean, we're the richest country in the world, and we can't
they could
get
fix
election
it.
machines
They could
that
fix
work.
it. They could fix it in 6 months.
And now they're saying it's going to could take weeks to count all the votes in
Right.
Arizona. Like, come
Ridiculous.
on, man. Get out
The
of here.
technology we
How
have.
is this not? Yeah.
I can tell you one thing. Mark Zuckerberg, let Zuckerberg run the fucking elections. At least he'll have the data quickly. He's already got the data. I bet Zuckerberg probably already knows who the fucking election winners are
I saw
before the votes come in.
these are two separate things, but I thought it was just kind of funny. I saw like a tweet that said, literally, America's Got Talent can count millions of vote on a commercial break. But
On a commercial, on a commercial break, right?
but we
Get the
can't start
fuck
doing
out of
electronic.
here.
We cannot do electronic voting though, like that.
Dude, it's ridiculous. Listen. I fucking hate this. I hate the midterms. I hate politics. I hate the fact that they're installing communism right in front of our fucking face. We need to do something about it. It starts with our local level in your community. You, if you're watching or if you're listening, fucking do something. Get out, get online, post videos, go to your local school board meetings, meet with your friends, talk about it. Don't be a fucking pansy. Don't be a coward. If you don't believe in something, stand up for it and talk about it. Because if you don't use your right to free speech, we're all going to lose them. Let's move on to something more.
Talk about the Rolex then. What do I got to do to get a Rolex?
What do you got to do?
How much in sales do I have to get to do a Rolex? Was it just top performers, or was there a threshold they had to meet?
Yeah, there's a threshold. So, good question. So I went to the store the other day, and it was super dope because I found a store with Rolex. I mean, I fucking overpaid for them, but to make matters worse, I overpaid for the overpriced watches. Fucking A. Thanks a lot, Obama, COVID, or whatever the hell. No, they say there's like a shortage of watchmakers and Rolex is making the same amount of watches. Demand went up. They're struggling anyhow. I overpaid, but I went to the store and bought 6 Rolexes, which is pretty fucking cool. It's a pretty cool milestone. But yeah, we've got a Rolex team. It's pretty dope.
So this is not a new thing.
No.
okay.
Nope. We've only got a couple up until this year, and this year we will have I think 4 more added to the bunch. So we basically, in order to qualify for the Rolex team, the Rolex Award recipient group, it's a club, bro. The Rolex Club.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
You got to sell $1.5 million worth of annual revenue in 1 year. That will move up. We'll probably move that to 1.75 next year.
Is this a rolling window or does it start like January 1?
Calendar years. Yep. Starts over every year.
So if I did like really good in third quarter and then it starts over January 1 regardless.
That is correct.
So I can't count that towards
No, sir.
Okay.
Oh,
That'd be cool.
I didn't know that either.
No, it's calendar years, man. Yep. So it's the same exact program that Surf Pro Corporate actually does for the franchisees. The numbers work, man. If you sell $1.5 million worth of work, I should be able. Well, prior to this year and last year, we should be able to gift you a Rolex. So we decided to basically install the same Rolex program that Surf Pro Corporate has for the franchisees with our team. So we've got kind of a Rolex club in Surf Pro Corporate, and then I was like, you know what? My people work their ass off, and my people are just as committed as a lot of these Rolex award winners. I'm going to get them in on this group, and it seems to go pretty well. And then we have a big bomb-ass year, and I got to go buy 6 Rolexes at one time, and then all of a sudden reality sets in.
That's awesome, though. I like it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, it's
Some people are motivated by that, too. So,
yeah, a lot of salespeople.
yeah, a lot of salespeople.
Yep. The people that are...
I would be. I don't even wear a fucking watch. I would be.
Yeah, I don't wear a watch
I just want to be
either.
part of the club.
As I wear a watch.
As you
This is
wear
my-
a watch.
Yeah, this is my
Lying
dad's,
sack
though.
of shit.
This is my dad's watch, so I wear it when I'm feeling like I want to be close to Pops. I put on his watch.
That's fair.
Yeah, but I am not a watch guy. I actually went in, bought 6 watches without a watch on. So of course, and I walk in with like a t-shirt, backwards hat. And like, you're gonna buy 6 Rolexes, dude?
Oh, they fucking pegged you, huh?
Yeah, they got my-
stereotyped your ass.
They
right
stereotyped me. That's right. They were making sure I wasn't stealing. When I first went in, they would give me 1 watch at a time. They wouldn't let me walk too far away from them. And then I bought 6 of them. So, yeah, man, it's really cool. It's a moment for me to be able to do that as much as it probably... The impact of the moment for me to go in and buy those watches, that many at one time, because we've had such a great year, was a milestone for me and a goal that I set to try and get people to build them up and to have people achieve that work for me. So it's not just me alone making these big goals and reaching these. The achievement for me is probably as big or bigger emotionally for me as it is for them.
The achievement for you is recognizing the achievement.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't call me crying or anything.
You just put that on. out
Oh
there,
my
didn't you?
God, you got it.
It
Wow.
wasn't like
He was
that.
very emotional,
It didn't happen.
and it was cool.
You just put that shit on. out
That's
there.
awesome, though. It's the beginning of November, though, and you've had people qualify for that
Already,
There's
man.
Still 2 more
Yeah,
months.
We still got time.
You may have
There's another
shorted
hurricane
yourself
coming.
on.
Yeah, we
You
got
may have
another-
shorted yourself on Rolexes. You better go back to the store.
Exactly. No, I got an extra. So I got an extra.
Yeah,
But,
one wiggle room.
and I'm on the hunt. Matter of fact, if anybody gets this and they know where I can find a Rolex, any
you bought
Rolexes,
the store out.
dude. Yeah, you can't find them anywhere. That's right. There's like a legit shortage. So these people got them.
So maybe I need to be a watchmaker when I retire. Is that where the money's at?
I mean, I think you'd probably make more money as a watch flipper. So if you can go hunt down Rolexes, so here's
Sell them for double.
yeah. So I mean,
To you.
scour the country.
You.
Okay, find people in need. Go to pawn shops. Like if you can find Rolexes in today's market, you can sell Rolexes, used Rolexes for 20% above retail.
What's a retail? I don't know anything about Rolex.
Oh, dude, the spectrum is so broad. Anywhere from $7,000 on the low
That's
end.
a minimum.
Yep,
Wow.
on a minimum. Yeah,
Just
for a new watch.
fucking clock.
Yep.
What do they do?
For a clock.
They tell time, Brad.
Exactly.
And they don't even do that well. Like you got to keep them moving, and they suck. Dude, what do they do? It's a status piece, bro. It's a club. Nobody gives a shit about
that.
how well the watch keeps time.
Nobody needs it to actually tell time. They got their phones.
It's a statement
for
piece,
Christ's
bro.
sakes.
It's a statement piece. It's a status
Like
piece.
driving
And
a Corvette.
listen, I'm not much of a status guy because I wear the same shit and I dress the same and I walk, talk, and act the same, and it kind of throws people off. But at the same time, I'm here for it. You want to fucking achieve some shit and get a fucking trophy because you took first place? Display your trophy. Like, remember when you were a kid? You'd win a fucking baseball game and you'd get a trophy and your team would all pose with your badass fucking trophies because you won the fucking your all-star game or you won the league championship. Yeah, that shit's important. Because remember how that made kids feel? They took that shit away from adults. They took that feeling away from adults. Instead, they call us fucking braggers. And they say, oh, you're rubbing it in. You're being arrogant. You're being that. No, motherfucker. I worked my ass off and I achieved something. And now I get to put the trophy on the shelf, It's the Rolex is a trophy, bro. The Rolex is a trophy for fucking everybody wearing a Rolex.
I would be a lot more inclined to wear a Rolex if I won it versus having paid $7,000 for it.
Well, let's say you didn't win it. Let's say you
Earned it.
You earned it. Let's say you struck a big deal. Let's say you signed a multi-million-dollar deal or something, and you were able to cash out on a couple $100,000 or whatever it is. And then you're like, dude, I want that timepiece. Like you just go buy your own trophy. It doesn't necessarily have to be earned. And, if you reach this milestone, these people that are buying these high-end, Louis Vuitton purses, it's a fucking trophy. That's all it is. It's a trophy.
Right.
You went and bought your own trophy. And what does that show? What does every person who's ever bought a Rolex? What does every person who has ever bought a Louis Vuitton purse? Every person who's ever bought a Mercedes? Every person who's ever bought a Rolls Royce? I want that, and I worked my ass off for it, and now I'm going to give it to myself. It's the trophy. You just get it for yourself.
Right.
And it's normal, and people should be celebrating that shit. You do good shit, call your wife, call your friends, call your husbands, call your people. Problem is there's only a few people who won't be jealous. Only a few people who actually want you to win. And then you learn.
You get the must be rough crowd.
Must be rough, exactly.
You live in a nice house, must be rough.
It sure fucking is.
It was real fucking rough when I worked for it.
Yeah, exactly. Been breaking my ass for 20 fucking years to buy it. It actually was rough. Yeah. Anyway, I just love, my favorite part is that my team is now, a lot of them have been working at this thing for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. And they finally hit their milestone, and they get to feel that same feeling that we felt in Little League, that entrepreneurs feel, that married couples feel, that, everyone feels when they hit a level of achievement that they're trying to fulfill. And now I've got
how many
more
do
and
you
more.
Get to like 1.4 in December, and they're like, motherfucker.
Oh,
worked my ass off.
Less than you might think. No, they're either on it or they're not.
Off. Yeah.
Yep.
they're like, I'm this close. I gotta go sell some
Right.
shit.
Exactly.
They'll get there.
Yep. They're watching
The
it
type
all
of
year
people
long.
that make it that high are those
right.
type of people. For
All
sure.
winners.
Yep. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Anyway, listen, great conversation.
Hey, it's been fun, man.
Hell yeah.
Let's
do this
do it
again.
again sometime.
I was gonna say, let's do it again sometime. I'm so happy to be back in the
Hey,
studio.
follow, like, subscribe, whatever the fuck you do, go do it.
All that
Also-
We need to. Oh, Jesus Christ.
almost killed her. We almost lost her.
Also, I wanted to one more time say or shout out to all the veterans. Thank you for your
Veterans
service,
Day, for sure. Thank
past, present.
you. Go get that free blooming onion.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Veterans Day, and I should have said it at the beginning. Shout out to my team. My Serpo team specifically, my family, all my friends who have been supporting us through these times.
They're basically on a deployment right now.
They're basically on a deployment. Yeah, man. It's my first time home in 6 weeks, and it feels like I've got that Stockholm syndrome. Like I need to be back there. They need me. I need to be there. That feeling, that deployment feeling, man. So shout out to all my friends, families, my team members, as well as their families. Because as you know, on a deployment, the moms and the spouses and boyfriends and girlfriends back home holding it down. I appreciate everything you're doing, and
Lindy's
so
doing-
do the people.
Linda, you're just fine, aren't you?
Yeah, she's doing
Fine.
great.
Everything's fine.
Anyway, thanks for joining us.
Love you guys.
Peace out.
Deuces.
1, 2, 3.